Hey guys, it's Victoria. So in this video, I wanted to share some very important information with you about the American English vowels. Now, I recently made actually individual videos for each and every American vowel. So if you haven't seen that, I'm gonna link it for you right up behind me, and I think you'd find it really helpful. But today's video is gonna be a little bit more big picture. So I'm gonna be telling you kind of the way I want you to think about American vowels in general, and you're gonna get a really good understanding of why they are so hard to master. We're also gonna be debunking the biggest myth that so many of my clients have been told when they first learned English, and in my opinion, it makes how you conceptualize American vowels way more confusing. So the first thing I want you to know is that English is what's called a stress-timed language. Basically, what that means is that within a sentence in English, certain words are gonna be shinier than others. By shinier, I mean more interesting. And in English, we accomplish that by playing around with a combination of 3 different variables. They're the variables of loudness, pitch, and length. So an English sentence shows what the winner is by making it more interesting. That is a really complex topic in and of itself, and I'm gonna be putting up a lot more videos about that. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe and YouTube will tell you when those are ready. But for now, all I want you to know is that that exists as a concept because it's really, really important. So what's the myth that so many of my clients have been told? It's that English falls into this beautiful, clean, binary system of long vowels and short vowels. For example, I will be told that E is a long vowel and I is a short vowel. Now, if that was the full picture, this would not be as long a video as it's about to be, because the English vowel system has so many more variables that you have to know about, that you have to take into account. There is not a long and a short vowel. Well, there is, but as you'll really quickly see, there's a lot more layers that you can put on top of those baseline lengths, and that's going to change the whole picture entirely. So to get us rolling, the first variable that affects the length of an American English vowel is this idea of tenseness or laxness. I know what? So it's really easier than it initially seems. Tense vowels are vowels that actually use tension, right? That's why they're called tense. The tension within these vowels is going to be in and around your tongue, in your vocal tract, and in and around your throat. Now, the majority of American vowels are tense, and that makes them very different than a traditional a, e, I, o, u vowel system in which the vowels are clean and short and precise and do not use very much muscular tension. So here's the thing. Tense vowels, yes, they use muscular tension, but the other thing that you need to know is that they have a minimum baseline length that you have to hit for it to really count as a real tense vowel. So I might have a client and he might say a word, and he might in fact say the sound absolutely correctly in terms of what the sound quality should be. But if he doesn't hold the sound long enough to meet the criteria for, say, a tense vowel, it's not going to be wrong, but it will sound bizarre. It would be like, instead of saying, that's a dog, if I said, that's a dog. The ah was the right sound, but it wasn't long enough to actually fulfill its minimum length requirements. So, as I said, most of the English vowels are tense, and I'm going to read them for you guys in just a second, along with their IPA symbols. So IPA is the International Phonetic Alphabet, and I just wanted to give you a really quick caveat here as to why some of the symbols I use for transcription may not be the same as the symbols that you are seeing in, say, an online dictionary. So online dictionaries use phonemic transcriptions. Without getting into like the really technical linguistic aspects, a phonemic category is kind of like this broad umbrella, but it doesn't guarantee that every single type of variant of that sound will be said in the exactly same way. So sometimes how you see a word transcribed in a dictionary is actually not reflective of the specific sound that's produced. So let me give you guys a quick example. Cloud, clout, cloud, clout. In a dictionary, those would be transcribed the exact same way, but you can clearly hear that they are not phonetically the exact same sound. So for me, that's a really important distinction when I'm teaching someone the American English accent, because I want you to know exactly and very clearly what your target is. The other small difference between some transcriptions that you might see online and the ones I like to use is how I transcribe my semi-vowels. So the sounds w and y. I like to transcribe them using the letters W and Y. There's a few reasons for this, but the most important reason is that my clients find this more intuitive and easier to follow. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to read you all of the tense vowels that we have in English along with a sample word. So we have E as in bead, A as in bait, O as in boat, U as in boot, A as in bat, Ow as in loud, O as in out, A as in bought, I as in abide, I as in right, Oi as in boy, and as in her. Now, of course, is a whole other thing of its own. So can actually combine with 5 other vowel sounds to create even more interesting, complex sounds. So those 5 are R, like the name of the letter R, air, like hair, ear, like your ears, or, like the number 4, and ur. I personally don't use ur very often. It's more so common in certain dialects, but for example, you might hear someone say sure, whereas I think I personally more so say sure. So those were the tense vowels, guys. Next up, we have the lax vowels, and there are only 4 of them. And lax, think of the word to relax. So your muscles are relaxed, and because of that, your vowels are shorter at baseline than were the tense vowels. So our lax vowels are as follows. We have I as in bit, E as in bet, U as in cook, and A as in cut. Next up, we have the famous, the very popular SCHWA vowel, and that is a reduced vowel. So a SCHWA is going to be shorter than a tense vowel, shorter than a lax vowel. It's a really, really short sound that you hear in alone, apply. So that was number 1, you guys. So the first variable that determined vowel length was whether a vowel is tense, lax, or SCHWA. The second variable that allows the vowel to change length is this idea of primary word stress. So if a syllable wins the word, so if it's the primary stress, that vowel is going to be a little bit longer than it would be otherwise. So I'm going to tell you guys a couple of examples here. So what did I write? Okay. Listen to these 2 words and tell me where you hear a longer ah. Obligation, honest. I'll read it again. Obligation, honest. Can you guys tell that the ah in honest is a little bit longer? That is because honest has the primary stress on that vowel ah. Let's look at another example here. Okay, so we have, tell me about the O sound in motor, motivation. Can you tell? Motor, motivation. The O is longer in motor because, again, that is the primary stressed syllable in that word. The third variable that causes our vowels to increase a bit in length is this idea of sentence stress that I referred to earlier in this video. So if a word wins your whole sentence, we're making a bit more interesting, right? So we have to give it a little bit more loudness, pitch, and length. But to be honest, it's primarily length and pitch that I want you to pay attention to. The loudness can be extremely subtle or sometimes not at all. So I'm going to read you two small sentences, and I want you to pay attention to the word ball. So here we go. Tim caught the ball. The ball was old. Tim caught the ball. The ball was old. It's subtle, but can you guys tell which ball is a bit longer? It's the one in the first sentence, where it's acting as the winner, the primary content word. So like I mentioned, I'm going to be making lots more videos about that topic, but that's the general idea of it. Here's one more example for you guys. How's Steven doing? How's Steven doing? And the answer might be, Steven's doing great. So listen to them side by side. How's Steven doing? Steven's doing great. So you can easily tell in this one, I think, that the first time we said Steven, how's Steven doing, where he was the winner of the sentence, we lengthened, we changed our pitch, we made him more interesting. In the response, Steven's doing great. Great is the winner, not Steven. So the length increase is apparent in those. So number 4, guys, the fourth variable that can change the length of your vowel in American English is a little bit more tricky. So if you have any old vowel, it can be tense, it can be lax, and if within the same syllable it's followed by a voiced consonant, you're going to give that vowel a little bit more length than it had before. So we already said, right, that tense vowels are longer than lax vowels. So if it's a tense vowel, it's going to get a bit longer than it was. If it's a lax vowel, it's also going to get a bit longer than it was. So if you're wondering what a voiced final consonant is, it's very simply a consonant that has voicing. That means your vocal folds are physically moving, they're vibrating right here in your throat. And it's really easy to feel them vibrating, so you can just put your hand on your throat and say zzz. So try that with me. Zzz. Can you feel the vibration there? You should. If you don't, contrast that to how it feels when you say s. So s. You should feel no movement here. Zzz. You should. So let's look at a few more together. Try to figure out if the sound I'm making is voiced or voiceless. So let's try. Is there any voicing there? Nope. It's voiceless, voiceless. So it does not have vocal fold vibration. How about Does that one have vibration? It does indeed. Is a voiced sound. Let's try one more. Is there any vibration at the level of your vocal cords? No. Has absolutely no voicing. So the reason we care about that, so let's go back to the point of this exercise, is that your vowel will lengthen if it's followed by a voiced consonant in the same syllable. So let's look at dock, dog, dock, dog. Dock has a tense ah, it's followed by a k, and k has no voice. So dock is this long. But when we change the k to a voiced g, guess what? That vowel is going to get a little bit longer. Dock, dog, dock, dog. Coat, code, coat, code. There are actually endless examples of this phenomenon, But for now, I'm gonna do a tiny little exercise to help you guys get a feel for this. So I'm gonna read you a sentence and I want you to tell me whether I'm saying the baseline version or the longer version of a vowel. So what do we have here? Okay, am I saying baseline or longer when I say, she made the bed? She made the bed. So my question really is, am I finishing the word with a t or a d, even though I'm clearly unreleasing the sound to make the exercise tricky? So in that one, I was saying a bed, like she made her bed after she woke up in the morning. So B-E-D. Let's try one more, guys. The movie's called 8. The movie's called 8. So am I saying A-T-E or A-I-D? I was saying the first. The movie's called 8. A-T-E. Or it could be E-I-G-H-T because this is English. So I hope you guys found this video helpful in realizing that the American English vowel system is super complex, nuanced, tricky, and difficult to master. It is something that takes a lot of work and patience, but honestly, awareness of these variables that we just talked about are a huge step in being able to catch those tiny differences that I want you and I need you to become aware of if you want to really master and perfect your accent. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as I said, I'm going to be making lots more videos in the coming weeks and months. So please subscribe if you want YouTube to tell you when that happens. So again, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.